Hello, everyone. Welcome back into the weekly podcast that happens weekly. I'm Michael. I'm joined once again by eternal co-host and dear friend of mine, Jordan. How's it going, Jordan?
It's going pretty good.
Now, what could have possibly brought us out of our hiatus?
I have absolutely no idea.
Well, Jordan, it's the Switch 2.
Holy shit, that got announced.
It did actually, finally, after podcast of us saying, well, when the Switch 2 comes out,
Yeah.
it finally got announced, and it's releasing eventually,
Yay.
sometime this year.
That's all we know.
We're not sure exactly when, but we're here to chat about it because I don't think there's really been any videos online about the Switch 2 talking about it yet.
I doubt it. It's kind of a low key thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of the hardcore Nintendo fans want voices of reason here.
Of course.
And no one else is filling that void, so here we are.
So they're all a bunch of cowards. They don't want to take on
right.
that mantle.
Let's talk about the physical design of this thing, which it should be mentioned was just public knowledge before the reveal. I don't know about you personally, but I had seen a mock-ups that were identical to the final model.
I'd seen a couple here and there, but I wasn't like actively looking for it.
Yeah. As someone who's kind of tuned into that leak crap and it does actively ruin my enjoyment of things, I'd already seen it, and so that was not amazing. And also the magnets thing, I think that's something we have discussed before. I think is that it was going to be a magnetic based system instead of the rails, and so that wasn't, none of it was surprising to me, I guess I should say, but it was cool to see it finally.
Right, actually, like an official way to see instead of like the leaks. It's like we probably shouldn't be seeing this,
Right.
but the genie's already out of the bottles. So
What do you think of the design?
I mean, again, like it looks pretty much like the Switch one, but just bigger.
Yeah.
For the most part, like obviously there's a few different like slight differences between the two, but I think it looks good.
It looks pretty sleek. I think that sleekness was a big consideration they were making when putting this
absolutely.
together. I think that's a big motivating factor on the magnets, actually, because now it looks like the Joy-Cons will fit more flush with it,
Right.
and it just has a much more sleek design. I don't know how else to say it, but I guess one sort of disappointment from my perspective on the design front is that when they were first showing it, I didn't realize where the bezels were. It just looked like a real nice big screen like the OLED has.
Yeah.
And it's really not the case. It does have those thick bezels of the Switch 1. And it's not a big deal by
Yeah.
any means, but I wish it was a nice full
Yeah.
panel. I think that'd be a lot.
I'm still not
better.
sure of the reason, but I think it might make it like the correct aspect ratio.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's hard to say because we know so little about how
Right.
games are output on this
Right.
thing, but I would not be surprised. There's rumors that it's a 1080p display this time around, which, I mean, if that's a resolution they're going to shoot for more, definitely makes sense. But if we're in like the Switch, like thinking about like the Doom port and stuff, if we're in that kind of realm again, that might
Yeah.
not actually really work that well for handheld games. I hope we aren't there still.
Yeah,
but
I
we'll see.
hope we've moved past that. Hopefully,
Right. I don't think we even know if it's an OLED or LCD screen.
I don't think they've announced yet.
I think from rumors,
Yeah.
like, who knows, it's LCD.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, especially for cost measures. And then, hey, in 2-3 years, Switch 2 OLED comes out with that fills that whole, surface area or whatever of the front, and smaller bezels, nicer screen. People buy another Switch 2.
Of course.
That's Nintendo's play, I think. Some other aspects of the design I want to talk about. It really has to do with that magnetic system, which we don't really know how that's going to look or work or feel yet. We know how it looks, but we don't know how it's going to work or feel. Apparently, I saw this today. There's an old Nintendo Minute episode where Kit and Krista were interviewing Koizumi, and he said that the idea that he was most attached to when doing Switch 1 was he wanted to make it magnetic.
Ooh, so he's able to actually go back to
He's
it.
actually able to go back and do it. So this is something they've been thinking about for a long time. In that video, he says he wasn't able to get it to work because it just kind of fall into your lap sometimes when you're playing. So I imagine that whatever they've come up with must address that concern.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple people online worried I don't think they would put out the product if it was like
Yeah, I've seen so many people. There are like so many people point out, like even Japanese people, like the little thing in the middle, like
the little
inside
connector.
of it. Yeah, they're like, oh, it's gonna snap. It's like I doubt Nintendo's gonna
Yeah.
like put out something that's gonna just have it snap immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think the argument a lot of people have made is like, yeah, Joy-Con 1 had the drifting problems, which I don't think either of us would deny.
Yeah,
But
I
that
think
is a
it's-
lot different than something where it's just immediately like, oh, that's a failure point.
Yeah,
You know what I
and,
mean?
yeah, instead of like developing over time, it's more like it's an immediate fail. It's like that's two different things. I know some people are. I think some people have had troubles with like the rails, but it's like a lot of the time it's like you're already fucking around. It's like you're messing with it too much. Like
That surprised me. I've been seeing that a lot too. I never realized there
I
was
haven't
this
either.
big rail problem, but I saw someone talk about how their 6-year-old totally like ripped the rails off the console. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, if you rip the controllers apart,
it's like if the kids are like messing around with it too
Yeah.
much, like that makes sense.
I mean, if anything, I feel like the magnet system, as far as that goes, that'll be sturdy just because it is like there's no, I don't know, how would they break off that chip? Just getting in there with pliers or
I
something?
guess, yeah. You had to like really dig in there
Yeah.
to break it off.
I don't think that's a concern at all. I think the more understandable concern is the one that Koizumi kind of alluded to, of it falling into your lap. But two things there. That chip thing, that connector piece, is going to create some stability there. And the new Joy-Cons have these back triggers for disengaging the
I had noticed that
suction.
because I think I mislooked at that and I thought that was like the ZLs and ZR originally, but I'm like looking at it, I'm like, wait, no, that's the lock for the Joy-Con.
Right. And that, I feel like the fact that it's now this larger button instead of the little nubs that they had for the rail system.
Which those are still annoying, honestly. In my
Absolutely.
opinion.
I think that this is a good sign that it's going to be a very sturdy feeling device. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm confident on this, and I like how it looks. I also like the new kickstand.
Yeah, I know some people are kind of like iffy on it because I know some people are like because they like the OLED's kickstand better. I think like the
full flap.
Yeah.
Yep. I kind of get it though, because this one I think has many more degrees of
more range to it.
and adjustability too, so you can like kind of pose it at different angles. I think that's all good. In fact, there's been a lot of talk about if the design kind of leans too heavily into the tabletop play. But from my personal experience, I see people use it in tabletop mode all the time. I think it's a very popular feature of the Switch, especially with younger people, as opposed to like a lot of people who are playing it docked anyway.
Right.
You know? People who mostly use their Switch docked, I don't think are going to see the ability, appeal. But if you're taking your Switch on the go, and especially want to play with a group of people, that tabletop thing is so convenient. You don't have to bring the dock with. You can still gather around, the table or whatever, play some Switch too. I think it's great. Also, along with that, I guess we'll segue into this. So the other major kind of soft reveal from this, as far as the hardware goes, is the mouse functionality.
Yeah.
This is something I talked to you about, I think like a week before the trailer dropped.
Yeah.
That there was speculation about there being a mouse mode.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit about it, but we didn't really get too far into the discussion.
Yeah. And I think at that time it was like a fun idea that was like, well, okay, that's a cute idea.
Yeah.
But then seeing it in this trailer, it definitely seems to imply some sort of mouse control,
Especially with the IR sensors too.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So it would seem as though the Joy-Cons can work as mice, and in the tabletop respect, that is like perfect for tabletop. Setting it at a table, doing your RTS games or whatever, with the mouse. What else do we think the mouse could be used for?
I mean, maybe interacting with like the menu.
Yeah, kind of like a Wii remote pointer replacement. Sure. I mean, instantly I think of FPSs.
Yeah.
Or even, it would be interesting if Splatoon 4 had some sort of one hand you have the stick for movement, and the other hand is like a mouse control for aiming.
I ironically, I actually saw something kind of related, but I saw some meme. It's like, hey, why isn't this more popular? Like have like half a controller for the movement and like a mouse. For PC
absolutely.
gaming. Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that the WASD, it's fine. It's worked forever. But, analog is still more degrees of control.
Right.
So I think that could be a very popular control scheme. And then I think the other two big ones, if they ever bring back Mario Paint,
Oh yeah.
obviously that was, I think, the reason the SNES mouse was created, if
believe
I
so,
could
yeah.
remember correctly. And then Mario Maker
Yeah,
3 would
that.
be a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah.
Because no one was happy with Mario Maker 2's control scheme.
Right, so it's like having actual be like, oh, here's a way to like click and like drop it down.
Yep.
It'd be the most convenient way to do it.
There's been so many Mario level editors for PC, and it always works rather nice because Mario is already like very intuitive in how things kind of go together, and then the mouse just being able to drag things, it's perfect. It'll be great if Nintendo goes that direction.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're still interested in Mario Maker. But I guess it remains to be seen. I think with mouse control as well, we could see like Mario Paint actually emulated on Switch Online.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And like they'll put it on NSO.
Yep.
And if not, some sort of like follow up to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, I was gonna say because there's Mario Paint, there's Mario and Wario is another one they could throw on there. Am I mistaken that Yoshi's Safari had a mouse control mode, or am I literally?
I don't
bonkers.
think so.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware,
I might be thinking of like PC hacks that kind of let you.
Yeah. Like I could look. I mean, maybe they could do something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, right? If we do get mouse control here, then the final input method that really is not represented on NSO would be a light gun of some sort.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they address that. It would be nice though if we got Duck Hunt, if we got Hogan's Alley and Wild Gunman. These are important games in Nintendo's legacy that are missing.
I mean, they could. I mean, maybe because like with like motion control on the Switch 2.
Yeah.
It would just have to be centered probably a lot, unfortunately.
Like a gyro.
Yeah, gyro
control.
instead of actual like pointer.
And or they could also again use mouse control,
mouse,
right?
yeah.
Which would also work. But that stuff is all fine, but it just doesn't feel really true to the games all that much. I guess they could potentially release a Zapper NSO peripheral, but I don't know about that.
I think light guns in general are just it's very hard to do like well on like especially with the whole like LCD like news displays and stuff.
Absolutely.
And, like post CRT, it's a little hard to do light guns anymore.
Wii U, I think, did get Duck Hunt, didn't it?
It did because you use the original Wii controller with the Wii remote for it, yeah.
Which is a fair kind of compromise, I suppose, but I don't know. It feels like the Switch ecosystem needs some light gun games in it eventually. I don't know how they're going to do it yet, but
I know. I
think
isn't House of the Dead the remake on it?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
well, is it? Or was that made by the same people who did Donkey Kong? By the way, am I thinking of the correct remake?
House of the Dead? I don't.
The Donkey Kong Returns Forever Entertainment.
Oh, I don't know actually. Okay. But I think there's a handful, but like I've not played them, so I don't know exactly how it translates to the Switch.
Right. Okay, House of the Dead was on Switch. I mean, I can't exactly investigate it right now, but yeah, maybe whatever method they came up with for that could potentially work. So who knows? That's I guess a question mark still, but we'll have to see. Is there anything else worth mentioning as far as the design and what kind of opportunities that has?
The mystery button.
Oh, the mystery button. Yes. So basically, for those of you who don't know, there is a new button right underneath the home button, I think.
I thought it was above.
I think it's below on the right Joy-Con.
Yeah, I know it's on the right Joy-Con. It's right around there. It's right in proximity to it.
And in various leaks, this button was marked with a capital C, but in the Switch to reveal trailer, it's just kind of this
blank,
unknowing button,
all-seeing button.
And it's unclear what it's for. I've heard some speculation that the C stands for chat functionality, where Nintendo will finally get out of the dinosaur ages and allow you to do voice chat with right on the console. Actually, that is worth noting is that you can see a little like pinhole microphone.
I don't think I'd seen that, but I should take a look again.
It's on the top of the console over to the left. Which I guess another thing we forgot to mention is the other USB-C, but maybe
Yeah.
we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that potentially chat function, potentially I don't know what else it could be. Does it mean click for the mouse?
That maybe
Engaging the IR sensor,
Yeah,
perhaps?
maybe like switching between like regular controller and mouse mode.
We've not seen any like pro controllers for this thing
Yeah.
yet, so I wonder if the pro controller will also include this button.
Good question. Yeah.
I've heard other speculation, which I'm less convinced about, which is that it is not actually a button at all, and that's only on the dummy units. And the C stands for cursor because it's a very small trackpad. And I just don't know about that. I think the Steam Deck not the Steam Deck. Well, maybe the Steam Deck, but like the Steam console thing.
Yeah.
It had something like that, the Steam controller. And I'm fine with that idea, but I just think it's way too small for that to really work. I don't know how that exactly work out.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really mesh well in my mind either how that would work.
I don't dig that all that much. But if it was, I guess the theory there is, okay, you can still access mouse controls while it's not being, on a flat surface being used as a mouse.
Right. But I don't know. It remains to be seen whatever this mystery button is, though.
I mean, technically, the mouse functionality hasn't been confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might as well be, but
it's been heavily implied not only in leaks but also in the trailer itself.
But I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would personally, I'd actually rather it be the chat functionality. I would love to have some sort of way to, even if it's just friends list stuff. I'm sure it would only be friends list stuff.
Oh, absolutely. They would not do open mic.
Hey, hop on Mario Kart. I want to play Mario. Oh, okay. And instantly, you don't have to have a Discord thing opened up. And this is this is speculation within speculation now, but my thought would be maybe Nintendo's like, okay, our idea was we want to have kids be able to play in like a safe environment where like creeps won't be able to creep on them.
Right.
And then they realized, oh, they're getting on Discords.
Yeah.
And that's how they're going to do this instead. Maybe we should have a better method potentially. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I've seen speculation both ways. Okay, was there something else? Oh yeah, we got the microphone on top of the console, which leads some credibility to that. And then over in the center of the console on top, now we have another USB-C port. Jordan, speculation.
Potential peripherals or like being able to actually like charge things like even while the console isn't docked.
Yep, I think that's it's more tabletop focused stuff.
Yeah.
Charging in tabletop is pretty much impossible on Switch 1 unless you have one of those weird little stands that they made for it.
Because I've got one that was the one from the Toki Retro Electors Edition, like that little like faux arcade.
Like for the Tate mode.
Yeah.
Stuff?
Well, no, it's not even Tate mode. It's just like it's like a faux like arcade thing. You just like slide.
Oh
it
yes,
in.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna be able to use for the new one, but oh well.
So I don't know. I think that, like you said, accessories is a big one. I have seen something about Nintendo having patented a second screen device.
I did hear about that as well.
Could potentially click into the top, which is cool, but it also brings up a whole lot of questions, and I don't know totally how I feel about that idea. We'll have to wait for more details incoming. But for me, the big thing would be when even Smash Ultimate, since it's backwards compatible. Got my USB to USB-C adapter, and now I'm playing GameCube Smash Brothers in tabletop mode.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of fun. So that kind of stuff I think will be perfect for it.
Yeah, because like what I'm hoping is that I would assume that like all the controllers would be backwards compatible in one way or another, which we can get to. But what I want to hope for is that especially like pro wired controllers, that we can actually use my silly Groove Coaster controller while it's in handheld mode.
Well, let's talk about backwards compatibility actually. So how do we think this is gonna operate? Because in the trailer they showed us one example of a game running, quote unquote, it's just a screenshot of Mario Wonder on the thing. Do we think that it's going to support all games, kind of? like by default, and it's going to be the weird hardware problems, or do we think? Hey, let's start there. What do we think backwards compatibility is going to entail?
So I actually watched another video that kind of ties into like what I was thinking originally. Is that like it's gonna pretty much support like pretty much almost all the games. There might be a few exceptions, but it's mostly gonna be like features from certain games just aren't gonna be. You can't use them in because of the way the Switch itself is like shaped.
So like Labo would be.
Yeah, Labo is like the big one. Because so the example was like it's like hey like the VR modes in Breath of the Wild and Smash, it's like you can access them but you can't actually utilize them because Labo just doesn't. You can't.
It won't fit in.
It
the
won't fit.
VR.
Yeah, it's too big.
Yep. It's too big that the screen is going to be display the images in a different way than the goggles would be able to pick up on anyway. Okay, that makes sense. Do we think that the Joy-Con controllers are going to be compatible? Like, even if we can't attach them, will they be compatible?
I'm thinking so. Yes, especially because remember how like they had like the new like rail. New charger.
The charger thing.
The new
Yeah,
charger,
yeah.
It's like why would you introduce that so late?
Oh, interesting. That is interesting.
I will say that's also from the same video. It's the GVG guys.
Okay.
So I admit that's theirs, but it's like that makes a lot of sense now. I'm like I didn't think about that. Yeah. Like I'm glad. I'm gonna take this idea. Like I'll credit him still though.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's fair to assume that that stuff will carry over, and so then games like Wii Fit. Or not Wii Fit, Ring Fit rather, will be compatible contingent on you having an original Joy-Con to be able to use with it. Okay. I like that idea. I think as far as like, I pretty much agree that most games should just run. I think that the, what do you call it? Not the operating system or whatever it's called, but like the, development environment is very similar apparently between Switch 1 and Switch 2.
That would make a lot of sense.
So I think that a lot of that stuff is just going to carry over. And I do think there's going to be like some shovelware like eShop stuff that does not make the transition necessarily.
I hope so because that needs to be curated.
Oh, absolutely.
To hell and back.
Freaky Trip, Ultra Deluxe Super Edition.
Let's not get into it in this episode. We went over it once. Let's not. Right. It might also be like games that like were delisted. You wouldn't be able to transfer over.
Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, that could be.
Because I know there's been some past consoles that it's been that way as well. So
yes, and it's worth noting that this is a full backwards compatibility between physical and digital software.
Which thank God. But.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like this kind of
because I think
future of a digital library.
I think they've sold like over 1 billion Switch games.
Wow,
which sounds about right. Like especially like people like buying like somebody like individual games.
Yes.
So it's like they're kind of like okay, we have to do backwards compatibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God, it was our number one feature. I think that when we used to talk about this,
right. It's like please, like we need this.
But here's another question, backwards compatibility related. Are we going to see improved fidelity from backwards compatible games?
Maybe.
Let's use Breath of the Wild, I guess, as the main example. So it's worth noting, like, at Gamescom 2023, I think, is when the first rumors came out about Switch 2 actually being shown off to developers.
Yeah, because it wasn't like behind closed doors. It was like a 4K 60 FPS version of Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, yeah. Which I am almost a little skeptical of now, having seen. I mean, we saw so little Mario Kart 9, but it is like not exactly what I would have expected from a console that is apparently like a 60 FPS 4K monster now.
But I think we just talked about it. It's like it's off camera. It's technically off camera, and like it was like the main focus of.
And it was also a 1080p video that was compressed to hell.
Yeah,
so,
it's very compressed.
We'll get to that in a bit, I guess, but. I guess it remains to be seen if that was like a tech demo, like, hey, this is what a game like Zelda could look like. We tuned up this one, and it's 60 FPS 4K this specific version that we've created internally, or if that's like, okay, you pop it into the console, not 60 FPS.
Maybe.
4K.
Well, yeah. I'm like, I would hope like games would like run better because I know like from 3DS to new 3DS, like some games did run better with like the better clock speed. So I'm hoping it's something similar.
I wonder if it'll like kind of depend where like so. On that note, even Switch 1 games had that slight uplift between model revisions.
Yeah,
there was the original launch model and then the Mariko chip
Something,
consoles.
yeah. The V2, I think is usually what people call it. Yeah.
Where I think Tears of the Kingdom runs like a couple frames better on that model. Same with Breath of the Wild potentially.
Yeah.
And I guess you would expect a similar uplift from Switch 1 to Switch 2 then. But I think it's a lot of the best possible results are going to come down to new patches being released specifically
that's kind
to
of what I'm
address
thinking.
previous games. And I don't know if Nintendo's into that. I kind of hope they would be.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but it also kind of like take away from the fact that some games you can just pop it in, don't need to even need to worry about patches. So
yeah, I mean they could do like an upgrade fee. Do you want to pay the like $5 or whatever to get the 4K version Mario Wonder?
I really hope they don't do that.
It depends with me about how drastic those upgrades are.
Yeah, like if it maybe adds like new features, as
new
well.
textures, maybe like they like literally drew new textures. I would pay an upgrade fee for that. If it's just like, hey, pay some extra money for this to run in 4K, otherwise it's like stuck to 1080p, I'd be like, this is a little bit scummy.
Yeah.
Again, we'll have to wait and see. That's just like, how many times am I going to say that? Well,
right.
But that is my hope, is that we get noticeable performance improvements, especially on stuff like Echoes of Wisdom. That game, it's fine, but like, I don't know, it just ran like in a way that I did not like at all, and I just kind of had to put it down. I'm like, this is ugly to my eyes.
Like I did finish the game, but I do agree this, especially like out in the overworld, it's very apparent.
I think the one that I remember that you brought it up to me, I think was Princess Peach Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime. Like it was just a demo for it. I'm like, oh no, this is like the concept is very interesting, but like actually playing it's like I can't do this.
Yeah. It's weird too, because I feel like Odyssey is such a beautiful looking game, and that was 60 FPS, and it was pretty much flawless too.
Yeah.
And then you'd almost expect games to get better over the course of the Switch.
You would hope.
It's not exactly what happened, but hopefully the Switch 2 has the extra grunt to power through.
Because Showtime was what? Was that Grezzo? No, that wasn't Grezzo. I know it was like a second party developer.
It was like the Crafted World people, right?
I think so, yeah.
Good feel,
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to do like a Switch. What do they call that? Autopsy or postmortem. A postmortem.
Yeah, I'm like autopsy. I'm like it's not dead. Like, well, I mean, I guess that would also the postmortem goes in along with that as well. But
a postmortem of like the final years of Nintendo developed games on Switch, because as the quality, like as far as game design goes, didn't necessarily like plummet, but the technical aspects I feel like
the performance,
maybe that's a future topic. Anyway, speaking of games, let's talk about Mario Kart 9, the only
confirmed game.
Soft confirmed exclusive, I guess.
Yeah.
There is the possibility it could be a Switch 1 title still.
Yeah, like a cross-gen.
A cross-gen thing.
I don't know if they would do that for Mario Kart.
I think they shouldn't. Because the Switch 2 needs a big selling game, and Mario Kart 8 is like the game of all time almost.
Basically, I think it's the highest selling, and I think it has like the most the highest attach rate.
It's absurd how much people love their Mario Kart. Like, I like Mario Kart, but I didn't realize how much people love Mario Kart.
It's also funny because I still don't have 8 Deluxe.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, because I mean, for me, I'm like I have 8 on Wii U, so it's like if I want to play it, I'll play it on Wii U.
But get that Asian release with the DLC on the card.
He does have it, yeah.
I've been meaning to get that, actually.
Maybe. I'll have to... I've been thinking about it.
The DLC for that game did go pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Mario Kart 9, we didn't get a lot of it, but I think some of the observations we had were the expressiveness of the characters is kind of like leaning into the Wonder designs.
Which I love Wonder's its art style.
So I'm glad to see more of that brought into a 3D, more 3D environment. How do you feel about Donkey Kong?
He looks like a silly guy. I like him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
People are bad about the Donkey Kong redesign. I kind of like it. A lot of people are saying it looks like the movie, but to me, it leans more into like the classic arcade
Yeah, like OG
era.
Donkey Kong.
I think that's cool. Actually, it's different. I like to see them not play it safe all the time.
Yeah, I kind of hope maybe that's like 2 different versions of DK then maybe.
If they did costumes, that'd be a lot of fun. I don't think Mario Kart has really done costumes outside of like
Not really.
you can believe, like Blue Yoshi.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff like
probably
that.
wouldn't do costumes, but maybe like 2 separate like slots.
They
Like one
do
for-
like doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're looking at you, Pink Gold Peach.
Oh my god. Why?
Yeah, that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah. I don't know. The courses looked really big. I actually have a theory, Jordan. I have a theory that we did see a racetrack, but we actually saw 2 separate things. We saw a racetrack, and then that final shot, I think, is of some sort of hub world. I think that this is going to be a Diddy Kong Racing-esque Mario Kart adventure.
That'd be kind of cool.
You'll notice there was a Yoshi restaurant,
There was the Yoshi restaurant.
which we were all very excited about.
Let's go eat there.
We were waiting for that to open in Nintendo Land.
Yes.
But underneath it, there's like a little thing. It's like a glowing, like yellow thing, indicator of some sort. I think that is a mission objective, like a stopping point. They'll be like, you go there and Yoshi says, Mario, it is me, Chef Yoshi. Please deliver these 10 burgers across town or something. And there's some sort of open world aspect, because that's straight away. It goes on forever. If that is just a racetrack, that's crazy. There's that little going on in it.
Would it also have like other racers going around at the same time though too? Because that was kind of part of the shot.
I think it's possible. Yeah. I mean, well, do you want to hear the other idea I've heard, which I think is also interesting? That was not. I mean, what it looked like to me was like a bag of food.
Yeah.
And like pick up the bag of food and deliver it. People are saying that's a wonder seed. Now, this would truly be insane if there was wonder effects on the courses. Imagine that straight away. You hit that, bunch of hills all of a sudden appear, and it like is dynamically transforming the tracks.
I could actually kind of see that being like the main gimmick of 9.
Yeah, it needs something because 8 had those like anti-grav, and it had all this stuff from 7 as well. This one we didn't see any of the anti-gravity stuff. Granted, it was a very short part of
and it was
gameplay.
just like a on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. But it still seemed like, where's the hook? It's not like visually like knock you off your feet kind of thing.
Maybe that's why they also didn't come out and be like, hey, it's Mario Kart 9. It's more like here's a little snippet of this thing that looks like Mario Kart. But we're not gonna tell you what it is just yet. You'll have to wait and see what we're cooking here.
Yoshi.
Yeah,
Yoshi
at the
burgers.
restaurant.
Yeah, at the restaurant. So I don't know. I think it could be either one of those. The Wonder Seed idea is really cool, but I'm just kind of yearning for I love adventure modes in games, and they feel so rare nowadays, especially ones that are like fleshed out to any degree. I mean, I liked Smash Brothers World of Light as much as the next guy, but it still is not really a replacement for Subspace or my favorite, which was Melee's adventure mode.
Yeah.
Mario Kart with an adventure mode. Go around here, pick up. It becomes Crazy Taxi for a section. It becomes
that would go kind of hard actually.
This other kind of thing. Go and run over 10 cactuses or something weird. I don't know. I don't know what these missions would look like, and people have been asking for like those missions from DS to come back.
Yeah. Mission mode would be really sick.
What if they put that in like a more open world Mario Karty context?
Kind of like combining the two aspects together. Yeah,
I think that'd be really fun. So I don't know, but is there anything you want to see from Mario Kart 9 really bad?
Not. I mean, probably some old racers that haven't come back in a while.
Okay.
Rob would be a cool one.
Oh yeah. Good point. I'm like, who's he thinking? Rob.
Yeah.
Was the last one he was on DS?
I think he's the only one he was on was DS.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him bring in other Nintendo franchises too. Everyone's always asking for a Nintendo kart.
Yeah.
I don't know if they need to go that far, but
maybe a few like cameos every now and again.
bring in Kirby.
Yeah. Kirby is like, especially because the Rosalina's trailer.
Yes,
For
that's
Smash.
right. Yeah.
It's like everyone's like, oh, it's like, is this stuff for Marker? It's like, oh no, it's Smash. But it's like, but we okay, now we want Kirby on his on the Warp Star, like
Yes.
in it now.
I think that'd be pretty cool. And then obviously keep Link around and all those other characters from before.
So maybe it'll be eventually become Smash.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. So that's Mario Kart 9. I don't think there's anything else to really say about it. It looks good. There's going to be a direct on the 2nd of April, which was pretty sad because it looked like it was on February the 4th.
Right.
But we were scammed by America doing things slightly stupid.
The superior.
It's superior because everyone got excited and then was immediately let down.
Exactly.
Awesome. I love doing that. So yeah, we won't hear more until April, but around April we'll also start seeing hands-on gameplay with the Switch 2 at these various events that they're hosting. We signed up potentially to go to one. If that happens, you can bet your ass that we're gonna
do you want to do like a whole video instead.
Oh,
like,
probably. Yeah,
like not even just audio, like full on video.
For sure. We'll become real journalists for just a day.
For just a day. That's it. That would be so sick if we were able to go though.
Absolutely.
But also, it's gonna be kind of expensive. But we'll worry about that when we get there.
We'll worry about that when we win, which we definitely will.
Absolutely, 100%.
I guess it should be noted that it's a raffle. To get in. So that's happening in April. I don't know. I did hear that there is a February Switch 1 Direct apparently in the cards from the same source that leaked the 16th as the reveal for the Switch. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, yes, people leak the Switch 2 reveal every week forever.
It's like, hey, it's going to be here. It's like, no, it wasn't. Okay, now it's here. No, it's not. Here it is.
But this rumor did have some sort of credibility behind it, and I could see a Switch 1 Direct simply because Metroid Prime 4 still needs to be finally, like...
given a date.
Yeah, given a date and addressed, really. And then we have Xenoblade, I think, also in late February. Right?
It's March.
Oh, is it March? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so it still works.
It still works.
At a date after that. And, there's probably, like, one more kind of notable Nintendo Switch 1
the final game,
like the final one. So we'll have to see about that. Do you have any idea of what could be shown there? Speculation at all?
I couldn't even think offhand what it might be, honestly.
Well, let's speculate about this instead then, as our final part of the show here. The launch lineup for Switch 2. I think we can confidently say that Mario Kart 9 will be a launch game.
Yeah. Like, it'd be dumb if it wasn't.
It would be incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
What else do we think is going to be within, like, 6 months, we'll say, at launch?
I mean, personally, I'm hoping another 3D Mario.
Yeah, that's my number one.
Yeah, because for a full-fledged one, it's been since Odyssey.
And Bowser's Fury was so good.
It was good. I mean, I still need to play it, but
what the? Oh my god!
Which one was like? I don't. Again, I own original 3D World on Wii U. I don't need to upgrade.
Yes, you do. Bowser's Fury is a classic game.
If anything, just let me borrow it.
Okay, I actually might do that. You need to play this; it's really good.
It'll probably only take me like a couple days. So
it'll probably take you one night.
Yeah.
It's very short, but okay. So yeah, 3D Mario would be great. I don't know if we'll see Zelda. They've been having this like releasing a Zelda every year.
Yeah, I'm like
thing.
honestly, like I know people out there. They're like, hey, like they made the joke. It's like, hey, like with like I think like with Wii, like Zelda was a launch title. With Wii U, it wasn't a launch title. It failed. And with Switch, it was, and it was succeeded. So it's like
they need Zelda.
So it needs Zelda, but it's like, well, I don't know about because I mean, it has been a few years since Tears of the Kingdom, but again, it's only been like a couple of years since Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, and if it's another Breath of the Wild style one, I just don't know if it'll hit the same way.
No.
I can't believe it would.
I don't think so either.
If I were to put a Zelda game out on Switch 2 at launch, it would be Ocarina of Time HD.
Yeah,
a fully like ray traced version of Ocarina of Time with brand new models, kind of based around the 3DS ones because they do look artistically good.
Yeah,
but brought up to a higher fidelity.
obviously like in HD instead of like the like what is it? Not 480. Is it 360p or is it 480p?
Ugh. I want to say 360 on the
Yeah.
3DS, but I
I don't know offhand either. I'm terrible trying to figure out resolutions.
But nicer looking, or
Yeah.
more betterer looking,
more better, yeah.
and I think 60 FPS because I think it's just 30 on 3DS,
I
right?
think so. I mean, it's better than the N64s.
Yes, variable 20
yeah,
FPS.
20-ish.
Yeah. That's what I would do with Zelda if I had to release a Zelda game year one. Mario Kart, 3D Mario. I mean, I want there to be a new 3D Kirby. I really loved Forgotten Land. I thought that was like, I think that's the second best Kirby game, actually. I think it's awesome, but I don't know
what
if
would you say is the first?
Crystal Shards.
That makes sense, yeah.
But I don't think that we necessarily need that year one.
Yeah.
I just hope they do another one like that because it just works so well. It was the first one like it, and they got it very well done. So
one that I don't know for sure because it could go either way. That also might be in the direct as well if they're doing the February one is Pokemon Legends ZA.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I've been hearing that like it's still gonna be like a Switch 1 game.
I've also heard that too. Here's my thing. Assuming that there's no upgraded backwards compatibility, let's call it, or enhanced backwards compatibility, put it on Switch 2 just so that people have like a decent version of the game. Pokemon Company they don't know how to stretch a console to its fullest potential.
Not really.
And so they need that extra
they need the help they can get.
Yeah, exactly. Put it on Switch 2 as well, even if it's just a little bit of a res boost. And
I mean, I am glad that like as a slight tangent, I am glad that like we've not really been hearing too much about ZA.
Yeah,
which is, in my opinion, I think that's good.
It's been very quiet on the Pokemon front.
Yes, which I'm hoping this means they're actually like that. Pokemon Company is actually letting Game Freak take their time and actually develop a game instead of be like, no, you have to get it out by this to line up with the merch and the TV show and the card game.
Are you saying that Pokemon could be like on a comeback?
I mean, I hope eventually? So. I mean, I don't know if I'm still gonna play it, but
what would it take to get you to play Pokemon ZA? Did you play Arceus?
I didn't even play Arceus. No. I mean, it's just as a whole, I've just kind of fallen off of Pokemon, mainly because the whole Pokedex thing.
Yeah.
So
probably it would take that to win you back.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, we'll see. They have been quiet for a while.
It's not gonna happen, I can tell you that. But they're probably making too much money from home.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a good idea for them to have some sort of Pokemon game. And launch year. Pokemon Snap 3. The Pokemon Snap game on Switch was really good. It was very well done. So it'd be nice for them to bring that back. Did you play that one?
No, I did not either.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, all the NSO stuff I think will be there day one.
Yeah, like,
if they do not have all the consoles there day one,
yeah,
I will be incredibly disappointed.
Yeah, like if they don't just automatically like transfer everything over from like of NSO over to Switch 2, like that would be a huge fumble on there.
That would I literally cannot even understand what they would be thinking.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to though.
Will they do GameCube then? Is GameCube finally poised to make a move to Switch too?
I mean, I feel like they should flesh out the libraries, especially of the N64 and GBA first before they even think about doing GameCube.
Yeah, the Game Boy in general needs attention from them. I don't know why it has been so poorly serviced.
I think just in general, like it's just been so drip feed for a lot of the consoles. So like I feel like they should flesh all those out first before they even think about for GameCube.
I mean, anyway, this probably gets into too much of a side tangent, but it sort of feels like it's necessary because people are no longer buying these games; they're more like renting them.
Yeah,
and I imagine that it's harder to get, especially third parties, to sign on to that sort of stuff. But even still, like we're Smash Brothers, for example.
Yeah, it's like even if you can't get the third parties, it's like at least put the rest of your first party games on there. Like that's like the bare minimum.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know if they're holding that one back for Switch 2, maybe even. We'll find out. Other launch year stuff. I mean, I've heard third party wise that Final Fantasy VII is poised to make its way over there.
I did hear about that. I'm hoping it's at least remake and if not both remake and rebirth.
Yeah.
Because like if they do only rebirth, I'm like, Squeenix, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like what? Why do you release the second game but not the first game?
Was Remake the one that recently got a Steam Deck verified port?
No, Rebirth just is either just coming out or like it just came out. Like
Okay.
I think it's like either very soon or like just came out.
They should do both of them then.
Yeah.
For sure. I wouldn't be opposed to giving those a try because they look like kind of fun action games.
Yeah.
I know that they kind of get away from the RPG roots a little bit.
Right, and they also changed. From what I know, it also changed the story a bit from the original. But that's a whole other.
Yeah,
that's
I've heard a
can
lot
of
about the
worms.
story changes.
Yeah.
Not any of which were really positive.
Yeah, well, it's not our place to say, anyways.
Red Dead 2 I heard about, which makes sense.
That would be interesting to see.
I've not played either of the Red Dead Redemption games.
I know. I think I heard one does not run the best on Switch, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll see.
Maybe that one will run better now on
Yeah,
Switch too.
Hopefully.
And then the one that is most intriguing to me, purely from a multiplayer perspective, is supposedly Master Chief Collection is making its way to Switch too.
That'd be it'd be interesting.
After all, everything is an Xbox
Yeah.
now, and so the Switch 2 is an Xbox, and which means it can get Indiana Jones, I guess, as well. But
Yeah.
Master Chief Collection, all that stuff. I love Halo 1's multiplayer. It's probably the FPS that and like Jedi Outcast are the two FPSs I have the most nostalgia for, just for multiplayer wise. So I'd like to see them bring it back, and yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. I mean, I don't really like keep track of like a lot of the leaks and like rumors and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all has been rumored to come out like for as far as like third party stuff goes.
Hentai Girls Puzzle Panic. I
I'm
think that
actually-
one might make its way over.
I can tell you that one is because I'm the lead developer, and I'm like I need to make sure it gets out on this system.
AI Slop Grocery Store Simulator 5.
God, I hate everything about all of those. And especially like when, again, this is another tangent, but like when like a popular game comes out, like the TCG shop,
Oh yeah, and you get the awful
all like the
rip-offs,
ripoffs,
that make it on the Switch and stuff. Yeah, it's a shame. Nintendo, fix your eShop.
Please,
Have
curation, please.
if day one
Moderation.
Switch 2 comes out and it's just full of AI crap, I'm gonna be so very sad.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Before we wrap up here, will it use the same eShop? Will they just carry it over? Because we know it's backwards compatible, so will they just allow you to purchase Switch 1 software directly from the old eShop?
I feel like, well, if it's not the same eShop, it would have to have like Switch One eShop integration into the like kind of like into the new eShop.
Okay, so like basically it gives you the new Switch 2 eShop. You go over to a tab and it's the Switch 1 software, maybe.
Or have it all together. Then like you can like here be like, hey, this is like Switch 2 only, and then these are all like Switch 1 games.
It'd be cool for options.
Yeah.
Literally any
options, please.
You can put that on Switch 1 too, Nintendo. It's okay.
It's okay. Like you can let us like choose what we want to see. Like it's not that bad, but it's not that bad. It's fine.
And on that note, I think we've done it. We've talked about Switch 2 longer than anyone on the face of the earth ever has.
I believe it.
Well, we'll be back here next week, same time, same place, for the latest in gaming news.
Absolutely.
Until then, it's been Michael, and I got Jordan here too.
Yeah.
And we're leaving now. See you later.
Bye.